Hi, everyone. Welcome to another inspiring interview at Institute of Global Leadership. These interviews are for you to inspire and empower you to have the best possible life for yourself, for your family, for your community. I am Evrim Numanoğlu Özgen. I am the CEO of Institute of Global Leadership, which is an organization based in the UK, offering online emotional intelligence and transformational leadership programs globally. Today, I have two special guests, a powerhouse couple, Anastasia and Juergen. And our intention today is to inspire you about what emotional intelligence and transformational leadership can bring into romantic and intimate relationships and family relationships. Welcome, Anastasia and Juergen. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, glad to be here.
Hello. Shall we start with you introducing yourself briefly before we go into emotional intelligence work?
Sounds great.
Okay.
So Juergen, would you like to?
I'm going to start. I'm leading a company that develops software for the automotive industry. And in that space, I'm both on the technical side, but also lots of connection with customers and employees. And so that's what I do.
All right. And I'm on the way of becoming a life coach with the parts of wellness and health that's included, and, your whole body and spirit.
Beautiful. Thank you. And the important piece is that you are both in the emotional intelligence and leadership work, transformational work. So Anastasia has graduated from a training center, HCL in San Diego, which I am also a graduate of. I've completed mine 2 years ago. And Juergen is doing, at the moment, doing the leadership program at IGL, Institute of Global Leadership. Very close to graduation, right, Juergen? 2 weeks ahead, 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Yes, so that's what we're going to talk about today. So you both chose to be in the work of transformation, emotional intelligence, leadership, being leader of your life. So what motivated you at the beginning to start this journey?
I'll start because I have started this journey just a year ago with the center that you have mentioned in San Diego. That was then in person. Which was shifted to be online, and due to COVID, like everything else. And what has prompted me to start this or go into this is that the month before that, I think we had a conversation, a really complete, broken down conversation. I think I cried for 2 hours, understanding that where we at, this is not where I wanted to be. That something felt stuck, something felt not moving, and I didn't know how to step out of it. I understood that there's something that I'm not seeing. And luckily for me, there was a conversation going on in one of my health groups. And I heard the transformational talk, as I have done transformation before, 11 years ago. And that interests me. I thought, this is something that she's seeing clearly, that maybe something I see. And I jump into things quickly. I don't dwell on this, but I understood that I needed something. And that was it. I just asked what's that about, and was given the information and signed up. And in January, I flew to San Diego to start my journey.
Wow. Thank you for sharing, Anastasia.
I'm not that jumpy like Nastya. So when I saw the impact that transformational leadership was impacting Nastya, I wanted to know more. I wanted to know what she knows, that I'm not in a deficit. But then while being in the conversation with the various coaches to go into Glow One, I recognized that there's something that I want to know more about myself, and what I can embrace and where I can grow. Yeah. And so over the journey till the Glow One started, I kind of went from deficit to really being interested in what leadership and transformational leadership is all about.
Thank you, Juergen. So you were inspired. What I'm hearing is you were inspired to change in Anastasia in the first place and started with like, what is missing in me? And now you are seeing all the possibilities in your relationship and in many other aspects of life. Yeah, beautiful. And just to be clear, Glow 1 is our first class at IGL. IGL's first class is named as Glow 1. So in case, you know, the audience hears it going forward. So yeah, I mean, this interview is special for me because we have very similar story in terms of the couple relationship. So my husband Bach is also one of the co-founders at IGL. And then I've done my exact program training in HCL in San Diego, and I traveled back and forward between London and HCL, San Diego, 2 years ago. And then Bach was enrolled, he enrolled himself by seeing the change and seeing the possibility for our relationship. Yeah, so I'm loving this interview. And what did you want? I mean, you mentioned, you actually mentioned, and in the journey, were you surprised? Like you started with these, let's say, expectations or vision, and in the journey, were there moments that you actually felt like, oh, this is how I started, but now I see things are different. What I can get from this or what I can create is different.
Absolutely. It happens, you go through a complete journey and you start finding things about yourself or how you view yourself or the stories that you tell yourself. You just start seeing the world in a different light. The relationships, the opinions that you've had of one another, about even situations that were happening, changing. Like all of these, breaks down, it's like, there's walls that we build around ourselves. There's certain spaces like boxes, we just see that this is how it works. And it starts all breaking down and you are at a completely clear canvas, is that you are the writer of your life. You're the author of it. You're the sole author of it. And just being able to see that, and that anything could be possible because you're starting from that. You're not starting from what the past dictates, is in itself so amazing. So it's not like you come out with all of the answers. You actually, it opens up. It could be any answer you create.
Wow. Thank you, Anastasia. Thank you for sharing. Juergen, what surprises did you have on the way?
I mean, similar to Nastya as well, kind of starting with the belief that I already have everything, and then seeing that there's limitations that I look at, or like where I look at how a result has to be achieved, and now seeing it from the possibilities of it can be anything, and it doesn't change what I have to feel about it. I think that is the most dramatic change. I mean, like that, and also stop like wondering what other people think about me, and being free of that pressure of what comes with it, that you feel like, oh, you have to be this or that, and you can be just yourself and everything is okay.
Wow. So from me too, what I'm resonating and hearing is that letting go of past, almost like forgiving what happened in the past and starting anew, right? Starting a new moment, and also letting go of the expectations that, Juergen, as you said, you perceived perhaps, or maybe there were true expectations of other people, but you found a way to detach yourself from those expectations to be your true self, right? So what was the impact in the relationship, your relationship, of these huge things?
Was better.
It's a very limited way to say it. It's interesting is that that before I started, I saw only two paths. Is that we dramatically do something, there is a change and we're moving one direction, or we're stopping everything. That is the only way. It was limited in my head. While going through all of transformation, I understood that there is hundreds of paths. There's ways that you could create that you didn't even think about, and that you both could feel good about. So we've started having conversations that we actually haven't had in 20 years. It's actually going to be, in a week, there's going to be 20 years that we know each other and that we started dating and then created a family. So what I saw is that anything is possible. The way we started talking to one another was more clear. There was no this heartbreaking feeling. There is no the devastation in it. We were able to say openly things as I was leading that, because he was not in a transformation yet, in a space of like, yeah, I mean, we get to get whatever is in our heart, we get to get it out and not feel that we're hurting another person. So that was a huge shift. We said things that we never said to one another in 19 years. And that was just starting creating a space, an open space, a vulnerable space, a space of actually holding one another in that, and non-judgmental space, if you want to say it.
Wow.
I mean, definitely. And I mean, I'm more close-minded, and while kind of going to the journey, really kind of opening up and not thinking of like, okay, I cannot say that anymore, or it kind of hurts, or I kind of already made decisions of what the answer should look like, and be more open about it. I mean, having that ability was profound.
Yeah, it is also, and the journey doesn't stop. It's not like you do and everything is fixed. It continues on. This is it becomes your life's journey. There is something that you constantly work on, and you adjust, you tweak, and you set it up, because as you evolve, everything around you evolves.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and yeah, that's so powerful. And you have two boys as well, right? You have two
Correct.
boys, 13 and
9.
9.
Yeah, 9 and 13. Yeah.
Yes, and well, we didn't mention this part. You live in Germany at the moment, and you moved from the USA, where you lived about 20 years, if I remember correctly, to Germany about a few years ago, right? So
Correct,
there were also
yes.
lots of changes happening in your life. So how did you find doing this work helpful, if you like, managing all that change and going through all that shift while also going through the changes happening in your intimate relationship?
Yeah, it was huge, because there was Germany is not my country. It's not the country that my country of birth. My country of birth is Russia. And yes, as you said, I lived in the United States for 25 years. This is where we met, in San Francisco, at work. Actually, we both, Juergen moved from Germany to work in the company, and I moved from where I was in college to San Francisco to start the job in the same space. And San Francisco is my home. We lived there together for 17 years. We created a family there. Our firstborn is born in San Francisco, and the second one was born on the East Coast. And US has become my home. And then everything has been everything was shifting. The opportunity came up, and we were moving to Germany, which is Juergen's country, but an opportunity popped out, and we said, yeah, why not? We were thinking about it. We're easy like this, making decisions. But what I didn't know, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard because it's a different language, completely different culture, different mentality, different space. And I was not expecting how it's gonna affect me. I have done moves, pretty easily, and I have, shifted cultures, and that was tough. And I think that was playing a role. So when I stepped into being in a transformational work, that has changed my perspective, or it supported me. I have found a community that I was missing, because I had a community in San Francisco. I had nobody here. But through the work, I found a completely different community that doesn't necessarily have to be right next to me, but they're there. They're my support. They're there to hold me, to to connect and to hold me high and to keep me accountable to where I'm going to. So that has been amazing. That has completely transformed my whole being while I was here kind of dwelling on it and saying, this is not, I don't want to be here. I have completely found a completely different space where I am me, and I have 150 people. So during COVID, we were all got isolated, and just wanted to bring that up. Isolated, and people were not seeing their friends and their family. I actually gained 150 friends during this time. So if at least.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So, well, there are so many amazing things, Anastasia. And so you actually changed the meaning that you put into this change, right? Like being in a country that is not your home, and being away from your friends that you knew you missed. And suddenly you gave a new meaning to everything happening and created new friends and a new perspective and a new vision. So yeah, powerful. Thank you. Juergen, do you want to add anything to that? You know,
I mean, almost not possible with this powerful statement. I mean, for me, the only thing is kind of, I understand that, like, I moved to my hometown, or not hometown, to my home country, but also knowing that this is not the last journey, that, I mean, our vision of like where we want to be with the family is not here. I mean, we're going to stay here and kind of with the work kind of are able to create like the best possible experience here. But on the other hand, we know where we want to go.
Yeah.
And I think that is one thing that we have both a similar vision of where we want to go, where we can go back and say, hey, that's where we really want to live, like in the sun, at the ocean.
Yeah. Yes, that's I want to add to that. Absolutely. We have created a completely different vision, you know, so that we aligned. What happened is that we talked and said, okay, it feels like this is a time, we're here at this moment, but it doesn't mean that this is forever. We actually both seen us somewhere else. And, you know, we started talking about, it's like, what would it be like? And how do we create it? And so aligning that, you know, vision for the family, for our kids. And we enrolled our kids into this.
So they're asking when they're moving.
When are we moving? Which was first year when we moved into Germany was difficult. The first half a year, because both of my kids, you know, heard German, but they didn't speak it. Right now they're both in schools and, you know, thriving, you know, in that language. So they're of course more comfortable. But the first 6 months was, we all cried, you know, just because it was so difficult. It was so different. It felt like kind of like it's not us. And now we talk about to them and they're like, yeah, they're ready to, you know, to move. They're ready to explore. That made them resilient. That changed, you know, has shifted them, and seeing that, oh, this is not the end, that we're continually going to be moving. I think the only thing they said, can we just not learn another language to be in school? But they're right now, you know, speaking 3, and I think, you know, who's there to stop them?
Yeah.
Wow. Powerful. Yeah. So just, you know, one thing we always practice in the transformational work is finding the blessing in everything, right? So I'm hearing that you found lots of blessings in that situation through this change, and also being in the work, right? Constantly shifting your perspective of what is going on. And you talk about your boys. I mean, we have Watch and I, my husband and I, and my partner in this vision, as well as, you know, in Institute of Global Leadership. We have 2 boys too. They are younger, like 7 and 3. And one of the biggest impact for us doing this work and being together in this work, and we are completing our 23 years of starting dating as well. So long time. But, you know, this is the best time ever, like best time in our relationship, in our marriage, in our lives ever. And one of the biggest impacts was really being family. Like there was love, of course, you know, we were a family, and there were also lots of challenges, obviously, in, you know, just like in all relationships. but really seeing the possibility that we had little children, boys, we were creating a life for them, and we were also creating a life for ourselves. Like really having that, seeing that clearly, seeing that vision clearly changed so many things for us. So for you, what changed significantly if you think about this work, emotional intelligence work, and as a family, like your boys, and as a couple, as a family, do you see any significant change?
I would say yes, it's being able to talk, to have been letting go of control and letting go of being attached to a certain result. As in every family, there's certain things you trying, you asking the kids to do, and creating this space of like having this, conversation. Okay, what works for you in this? I mean, even mitigating the conflicts. They're boys. They get into pushing each other's buttons, as we say, right? And how does it affect? Like there's certain things that we just let them solve, but at the same time to I think we even started, using different language of kind of, mitigating of, what's happening, letting them see for themselves, like, okay, how does it affect another person, and having those clear conversation. I think, I've always been a cleaner if, something happens. Something happens every day, all the time. And, ability to, apologize and say that was not right, I've had, but I think you stepped up to the plate with this. Is just, we're not perfect parents and we'll never be. And I often tell my kids, it's like, I'm learning. Every day I'm learning to be a mom. I was not born just like, I know it all. This is how it's going to work every day. And they're seeing that they're my teachers through this journey as well. So they're a part of it. And, whenever we have this kind of discussion, I say, what do you want from this? If I am telling you to turn off the TV, because you've been on screen already for a certain time, that, as a parent, that's what it means to me. I worry about your health. What is it for you? So kind of, I think the conversations that we're having are shifting.
Mm-hmm.
For me, kind of brought up in Germany, like you were born like, don't cry as the boy and what have you, like don't show your any emotions. It's weak. And then through the work, kind of understanding that emotions are good. You can show them and embrace them, and so kind of bring that back also to the two boys, that they are able to show emotions, that they're even naming those emotions, what they feel. That is something that is significant. And the other thing is like over the last couple weeks, kind of starting also playing every night together, and being not just sitting at a table and eating, but also have some time afterwards together, and connecting on that level.
And it was interesting you mentioned that this whole year was as we are constrained to just being at home. Was amazing because we involved them. We were doing, I was going through my transformational work. We were doing lots of, we couldn't go out, out to eat, and we like to go out as a family. We like to go out with just the two of us. So we've created, restaurants, like dates, and they were a part of it. They were like the waiters and they were the cooks. Like, I cooked the food, but they would put it, they would pour us drinks, and we would have one day it would be an Italian restaurant, the other day it will be an Indian restaurant, So, so that was kind of fun. So this playfulness has added. We played lots of games. We love to play hide and seek as a family, and Marco Polo on land, and cards and Catan, and all of this. So this is has become like an almost everyday thing that you get to step out and have play, you know, have joy, and not to think, okay, there's lots of to-dos and so on and so forth. That's that's awesome.
Yeah. So, well, as parents, as a couple, you created that relationship, connection, playfulness, right? And it directly impacts children, of course. They just, they're a mirror of us, right? In a way. So any change that we create in ourselves, they see it and then they experience it. And I mean, amazing things, especially, I mean, well, connection and emotions, like they, you know, two boys learning how to embrace their emotions and feel and, you know, be in peace with that it's a life-changing, not only for them, but for the world, right? It's a life-changing experience and shift. So that's
also, it's a good reflection kind of, because for me, it's like seeing them that they can cry and like seeing in them that it's possible kind of makes me also possible to be vulnerable and cry. Not that much, but more than ever.
Totally. I mean, it's priceless. There's no price on it. And, you know, I make always a strong accent on this, to that ability to express emotions, to not hold back, because I mean, there are two different kids, you know, one is more expressive, the other one, you know, is, you know, could be sometimes a little bit more closed in, but allowing that space for both. I mean, it's mega important to me, and we tweak, you know, we pay attention, which is like, oh, I feel like he has not said something there. And, you know, I go have a conversation, because I feel this is where it all starts. You know, it's our childhood, you know, that, and while doing transformation work, you see that so many patterns of ours, or so many things or meanings that we put on that happen in childhood to any situation. And yes, while we're doing this, our main goal and our vision is that they will get into their adulthood with less junk, you know, that is sitting in their head, in their heart, in their soul.
Yes. Wow. That is huge. Absolutely. So this work, the emotional intelligence and transformational leadership work, in my experience, I'm going to make a big statement, is the best journey, best experience to create a family together, to heal and transform a family, and to create intimacy, playfulness, joy, connection in a family. This is my experience, you know, with all the respect to family therapies, obviously. So, and because, I mean, there are so many things, but what you said, Anastasia, because we come with lots of things ourselves. And when we are not conscious of all the patterns, I mean, some of them are great, they serve our lives, and some of them are really limiting and painful and traumatic, right? And unless we are conscious and we change them, we pass them directly, like we are like passing them to our children. They're just having the same patterns, and it goes for generations and generations. So what you have created is priceless. You have changed your relationship, your boys, sons relationships, like your as a family, and it's the generations ahead. That's so powerful. Yes.
At least interrupted that past history.
Exactly, the patterns. And I always think it's like, oh my God, how lucky would be people and friends and girlfriends that are going to meeting them. Because they would be more connected to their emotions. They will be more connected to their being inside.
Yes, they are so blessed to have them in their lives, of course.
And they will change, absolutely. You're absolutely right in this. That's a ripple effect that happens, because by being who they are, by standing strong and believing in themselves, they will allow that to others who come in, who becomes their friends, people that they work with, people that they build families with. You know, it will, you know, transform their lives as well.
Yes, and this is the world that we want our children to live, right? Yes. I mean, and at the core of it, really, this is why we are doing it, because we want our children to live in a world that people listen to each other, love each other, support each other, let go of, you know, past and the hatred, and, you know, there's kindness, generosity. So yeah, that's why we are here. Exactly at this moment in the screen, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yes. So, Anastasia and Juergen, would you like to say anything to anyone? I mean, couples or individuals or families who truly want to take their lives and their relationships to the next level. So, do you want to say anything, especially about if they are considering to start their transformational journey?
I would say one thing is that you will go through, depending on who you are and how you make decisions, you will start thinking, for a long time, you will start thinking, oh, is it really the time for me? Do I have the money? There's all of those things will start popping out. Oh, is it really worth it? What results I'm going to get? The analyzation of all of it will kick in. What I learned, and I make decisions, really fast, is that there's no price on it. That was one of the best things, and I have done, work before that in my, 40 years of life. That was one of the best things that I have done for myself. Through that, creating possibility for my family, for my children. There is no price on it. There is no explanation of, well, what is it really? It is. It's such a paradigm shift that if you are in it, you will feel it. And that's that. So there is all of those thinking is, yes, that's us trying to, to justify it. And I found that work has no, in me, that there's no even thought of, okay, should you do it or should you not? Absolutely. I believe that every person in the world should go through a work like this, because our world would be a different place. It will be a place with no wars, with no hunger, with opportunity for kids to go to schools and colleges, for clean water and whatever you want to name it. And we would not be in a pandemic, we would not be in a mess that we're in right now if each and every one of us would be able to do work like this and heal ourselves.
Yeah. I almost cannot add anything to that besides give yourself the gift of this and enjoy the ride. I mean, it's worth every minute, every day, and it's going to be a lifelong journey that you embrace.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here and being in contribution to transforming the world. And thank you so much, everyone, for being with us, listening and watching. And well, wherever you are in your life, in your relationships, doesn't mean that you have to end your life at this point. So there are, as we have listened to Anastasia and Juergen, there are so many different possibilities you may not even realize at the moment. And that's what we are doing. We are creating those possibilities and making them happen through this work. So I invite you to connect with us. Well, we are as IGL doing these classes, this work, and also there are many other centers all around the world that, wherever you are in the world, we can guide you to somewhere that you're going to get the best experience for yourself. And my email address is evrim@instituteofgloballeadership.com. So please get in touch and let's talk about what is possible for you, for your relationships and for your family. And you can also connect us on Facebook, Institute of Global Leadership, and hope to see you soon. All right. Thank you so much, Anastasia and Juergen. Thank you.
Thank you, Evrim, and thank you for doing this work and being the world changers.
Thank you. We all are. So we invite you to be one of the world changers with us. That is our invitation.
That's right.
Yes. All right. Bye.